Now, from fouling in parks to frightening wildlife, man's best friend can sometimes be a bit of a nuisance. According to the Kennel Club, though, a growing number of laws to control dogs mean that they're being excluded from public spaces.
So are responsible owners paying the price for the irresponsible few? We're going to discuss this in just a moment. First, we asked you what you thought.
Born free as the wind blows.
It's a shame that they're necessary, but I think they are necessary because I think a lot of dog owners just don't have the sensibilities to be able to control their dogs properly.
I don't like the idea of keeping a dog on the lead all the time because I think that can cause more problems actually.
It makes sense, yes. I can see why it's come about. People have found dogs a problem, so I can see the sense. I can also see the sense that people who own dogs might be irritated by it, the fact they can't use the parks the way they used to do. So I think sensibly it would be a good idea to try and achieve a balance.
The dogs, if they are aggressive, then they should be put on a lead, but if they're not, then they should be able to roam free, because I mean, they will become aggressive if they're on the lead because they won't be able to play.
So let's discuss this. Well, it's a controversial issue, isn't it? We always get lots of comments on this. We're going to discuss it. Andrew Cooper is from Kirklees Council and Steve Leonard is a vet. So very good morning to you both. Andrew, what are you doing in Kirklees, which is getting everyone hot under the collar? Hot under the dog collar, say, shouldn't I?
I don't think it's necessarily getting a lot of people hot under the collar. It's we're getting a lot of support from people about it. We get about 1,000 complaints a year, roughly.
About dogs?
About dogs and about dog fouling, and we get about 500 about concerns about dangerous dogs as well.
You're pretty strict actually in Kirklees, aren't you? Inside designated areas, dogs must be on leads at all times. There are dog exclusion areas. Dogs must be on leads on pavements, roads, car parks, bowling greens, allotments, cemeteries, some schools, sports grounds where activities are taking place. Leads must be under 2 metres. I mean, you are really, pulling the dogs in, aren't you?
Yeah, we've got it on a tight lead, as you might say. But when you actually look at these sort of things, the areas where the tightest designations are areas where children's play areas, those sort of places. And so those are the areas where we're most concerned about. And that's why it's important, we think, to have those strict rules where children are playing, which
Steve,
people are concerned about.
Has it gone too far?
I think that some of these dog control orders, it just depends on how the council is going to apply them. We've got over 8 million dogs in the UK. The vast majority of them are walked every day, a couple of times a day, with no problems at all. I think that it's the same as any of these sorts of issues. Whatever little focus groups that we pitch against each other, we've got. We could be talking about teenagers exactly the same. Do we keep them on a tight, leash? Do they need to be supervised and all this sort of thing? And I think a few high-profile cases in the media tend to really panic people into actually possibly tightening up too much. Yeah. But I think a lot of the things like being responsible about picking up, dog mess and this sort of thing is definitely most of them are very sensible.
Yeah, Andrew, when you introduce some sort of control order, do you consult on it? Yeah,
we've just been through a consultation process. We've had a lot of good feedback from it.
And if you get a lot of dog owners, I mean, potentially hundreds of dog owners saying we don't want this, does that then make you think we won't introduce it?
Well, actually, we've had a lot of support from dog owners. I mean, I've got a lot of friends who are involved, who've got dogs and things, and generally the responsible dog owners are quite very much in favour of this sort of approach. It is only those who are irresponsible, who let their dogs foul pavements and foul public areas, who need to be concerned.
The trouble is, Steve, that lots of people do feel that the result of all of this is that there is a general perception that dogs are somehow all dangerous, out of control, and therefore not welcome.
I think that one of the main problems is that we do bounce back between sort of it's man's best friend versus the wolf in your house and this sort of thing. And actually, it's not that. It really is man's best friend. I think a lot of these orders actually, although a lot of people out there may feel that their sort of right to roam has been restricted and this sort of thing, if there are still places they can let their dog off the lead, one of the biggest problems we see is dog-to-dog aggression. It's not dog-to-people aggression, it's dog-to-dog aggression. And actually, a lot of the people that are walking their dogs will probably feel a lot safer if other people control their dogs.
That's the thing. So much depends on the owner.
Absolutely. Well, it always boils down to that.
And you can be walking in the park, and especially with a child, and a dog will come towards you, and you don't know whether that dog is going to be friend or foe, and especially if it's running 20 yards away from its owner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it always goes back to the same things, which is when you get a dog, it's like anything else. You need to do your research beforehand. You need to train your dog.
And I think you need to get trained.
Absolutely. We don't want the Fentons, being belted across the, that is a classic clip of, expecting a dog to do as it's told, They don't speak English, so you need to train your pet.
In many ways, I mean, this is a dog owner control order. It's not the dogs need the control of their owners, and we need to get owners to understand that.
They don't speak English, but they understand it.
Well, yeah, sometimes they do. Selective hearing depends on the dog.
The trouble is, they understand deer a little bit too much, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
Great to see you both. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.